whatever, and it's done. It's pretty sweet. All right, so I'm gonna try to create a stem. So this can be a little tricky because alcohol inks, like I said, really travel. So I'm going to take some of this green clover and blue diamonds. All right, that was not an Irish accent. I don't even know what that was. My apologies. All right, so I'm going to take this really small brush, okay, and I'm just going to take a tiny bit. I'm going to dab it off a little bit on the aluminum, and I'm just going to quickly drag it, okay? And if you see, it starts to expand immediately. Second it hits that Yupo paper, Yupo. I always say, and then I think poo-poo. Yupo, poo-poo. I'm such a child. I'll never grow up. All right, so, obviously you're going to have a little thicker area up at the top, so you can kind of widen this where it bulbs out a little bit, right? And then, so this is where, it gets a little trickier, but you have to be willing to just kind of go with it because it's not like it needs to be perfect. You want that ethereal kind of look to it. If you want it to be perfect, don't do alcohol inks. Or just be way better, which wouldn't be hard to be better than me, that's for sure. And tulips are a nice, long, flat. I look a lot of stuff up on Google because sometimes I'm like, I have no idea what that leaf looks like. So you're just going to kind of come up and flatten that out. And I'll probably bring this down too. And it kind of creates a different shadow too, if you see that. If I dry this off, I can actually run the dry brush through and it's going to create a different shadow. If you can see that. Kind of creates a different shadow in that. So that's how you do like your greenery. I don't get into doing a ton of really realistic greenery because it's a very hard medium to control small brush strokes. And, I'm sure as I practice and get better, I'm sure I'll be able to do more of that. But I don't like to make myself crazy with stuff like that because it takes away from, I think what you're doing. And it's not what I'm not trying to make it look like I took a picture of a tulip. I'm trying to make it look like this really airy, lovely color. And, that's what I'm trying to do. So I would probably add some buds to this, maybe some more greenery. I might add a little blue to the sky. So I'll show you how to do, clouds are kind of fun because you can really get into blending more with clouds. So this is still kind of wet. All right, so one of the things I learned the hard way is the dark blue, really, that stuff is powerful. Boy, that color, when you put it somewhere, it stays. And it's a little frustrating if you're trying to blend. So I'm going to do a little purple, violet blue. And then I'm going to do, I really like this color. This is Forget Me Not. It's a, I'm ready to chop my thumb off. It's a really nice light blue. So I'll do some of that. And I'm putting them away from each other on my little aluminum foil fancy palette here. That keeps moving. It's annoying me. I'm also going to put a little black over in the corner because you get lots of different colors in the sky. And we're going to do some blue too, but let's start. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Oh, it's actually still wet. All right, I'm going to use a thicker. I'm going to use this nice thick brush. It has still some green on it. No big deal. All right, I'm going to get some alcohol on it. And I'm going to grab some blue. And I'm just going to dot. So clouds are not just white. Clouds are lots of colors. You're going to have purple. A lot of times the dark is on the bottom. So you're going to have a lot of times the dark on the bottom. And as you can see, this is the same thing as my other purple. It really doesn't want to move. I'm going to have to be really careful with Pinata because, boy, it does not want to move once I put it down. So, obviously, the darker colors, you might actually need to dilute them more, actually. We're going to learn together, folks. All right, and then I'm going to use my trusty... that's really annoying that, as you can see, this is how we learn. See these little dots? That's obnoxious right there. That annoys me. The blue moved really nice, and the blue will continue to move, but I will not use that purple until I add a lot of alcohol to it. So I'm going to put some alcohol on that paper. I'm going to really mix it up. And I'm going to make sure I don't make that mistake again. All right, let's try this one here. We're going to do a lot more diluted. Yeah, that is powerful. Well, the good thing is it's going to go a long way. The bad thing is, once you put it down, if you don't like the shape or the dot or whatever you did, too bad for you. So yeah, usually you go lighter on the top, darker on the bottom. And then with the clouds, I like them to look kind of puffy. I'm turning this. And clouds are not, perfect shapes. And what's really neat is you can go in afterwards. You can take, clear it off a little bit with the clear. It's, my alcohol is a little dirty. You can move it. So you see, it created these little cells that opened up because I just put more alcohol on it. And I'm just moving it around, and so it just creates this whole... So you just kind of keep playing with it. We'll do one right here. So let's say I want to make a nice long kind of flat. I'm going to start with the slightly tinted water. I'm going to go flat with that. I'm just going to do some blue. Okay, and then I'm going to do just a little bit of the lavender on the bottom. I'm going to set that down. And I'm going to blow across it easily. I don't want it to go too far. I like that, actually. And so you're going to want to let it kind of sit still for a minute because you can really see everything's starting to settle. So if you don't like where it's settled, wipe your brush off and just kind of tap the areas that created a line, like a told you when the alcohol stops moving, it will typically create a line. If you don't like that line, you can go back through it. So I kind of like that one. It almost looks like there's a hue of like pink coming up. And then you have the bigger one. I like this one too. This one makes me angry. Stupid cloud. You're stupid. All right. Don't be mad at the cloud, you crazy person. All right, so let's try to make it a little bit of an angrier cloud on the top. Like it's going to be stormy. We're going to add some more blue, and then we're going to add some of that black. What's cool is when you put it on the aluminum, it's going to look like it's dried. Just add a little alcohol to it, and it'll come back to life. That's why I love this medium. It's just really cool. You know, it's very movable. Okay, there's a storm coming in, folks. They don't call me Katrina for nothing. All right, we'll add a little bit more. It's really cool. Like you can put these dots down, and it creates this cell that just kind of expands, and see that? It's just like all oh, that's neat. I mean, you just next time you're outside, look at a cloud, look at all the different colors. So now we have this gray, but we still have the lightness coming up because we have the storm coming in, but you know, you get that nice color, pinkish, purpley hue coming up. Very muted, but really nice. Sunrises, sunsets are certainly not impossible to do. I would just, like I said, recommend something like that. You're going to be careful not to overdo your colors. Play around, you know, see what you like, see what you don't like. So if we just were going to do a simple sunset, or let's say, let's do like we'll do one more thing here. We'll do some mountains across. You know, you think of your quintessential mountain sunset, sunrise. So I have a color in here that I really like. Coffee. It's coffee talk. Okay, we're going to do some coffee. So I'm going to do brown, but I'm going to do purple too. Because let's be honest, you know, purple mountain's majesty, right? I like this one. This is Ranger. I like Ranger. These are good. Oh, if I can't use my thumb. Stupid thumb. Stupid arthritis. Stupid getting old. Stupid. All right. I'm going to add some alcohol to this because I want it to move. I don't want it to be too dark. But I'm going to be careful how much I use. So I'm going to kind of dab it off here. And then I'm just going to go across. I'm just going to drag a simple line across. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of go down, find my base. Take some of the extra alcohol ink off. I'm going to come up. I mean, we're just doing this for fun right now. This is not going to be a masterpiece, okay? Okay. What I like, I mean, there's so many things I like about this. Reminds me of watercolor. But I don't know, I like it better. It creates these layers, and oh, I just love it. So if you look at this, my eye sees textures that are forming for the mountain that I didn't put there, but the alcohol ink did. There's lines, you know, it's so you can add more shading. So let's say I want to add darker area for like the valley area. I'll probably take, this is black currant. I'll probably add a few dots of that into the purple that I have over here. Okay, and I'm just gonna go across here because our valley is gonna be darker. I'm no Bob Ross, folks, okay? I'm really total amateur, but I'm just trying to show you, you know, if you have some areas where the mountain's gonna look different. You know, you have shadowing, you can run some lines through it. But if next time you go out and you see the mountains, I mean, we live here in New Hampshire, we have some of the most beautiful mountain ranges. And you see blues and purples and browns and just awesome. And, you know, at night or in the morning when the shadows are moving, it just is so amazing. It's hard to not see art everywhere in creation. So we'll try to add a little bit of, just by dragging the dry brush over, I'm kind of moving the color a little bit. The other thing you can do is, let's say you want to create a funky effect, you can add some clear, okay, and you can like literally drop it across. It's gonna move that color. You see that? You'll see it start to grow more. It's gonna create a lighter area. And as you watch, you'll see it right through here. This is where I ran that. See, and as I move that through, it's just really wild, actually. Okay. So those are our so-so mountains. The so-so purple mountains. Okay. You can also do like a dot effect if you wanted to change your textures. And this is just a dry brush, okay, but it has a little bit of alcohol. It will actually make these little places that will start to move, and it can actually create, like if I'm doing the center of a flower, I will take this and just push it into the center, and if it has some alcohol in it, it will actually start to create that center. It will start to grow. It's pretty wild. I'll show you right down here. So if I do, let's see if I get some color here. It's just got a little bit of green. I do this green, you watch it. It's just going to grow. And it just keeps doing that. And then if you do another drop in the middle, that's going to grow as well. It's pretty wild. All right, so we have our so-so mountain. So let's add, I'm going to take my little aluminum foil thingy, and so you can take these colors and directly put them on. I don't recommend it because it's a lot of color, and I think it's wasteful because you don't need all that. So if we take this golden yellow, and let's do maybe some orange or something, maybe a little bit of red. So I'm going to do a little bit of orange on my little palette here. I'm sorry, yellow. I know what I'm talking about. This is kind of dirty alcohol, but it should work okay. All right, and then this is kind of pretty loaded. I'm going to kind of just drag it across the area that I want it to be. You know, it's a sunset. The colors are going to move across the sky. So I'm going to do the yellow, and then I'm going to add, let's do an orange. Get an orange here. I got a Ranger orange. So I'll do some of that. Same brush. I'm going to do the orange just in closer to the mountain. A little up here. I'm going to clean it off a little bit. I'm going to add just kind of a dry brush with a little bit of alcohol, so not totally dry. My art teacher used to say that colors reflect, so I'll probably put a little bit of the orange, yellowy against the mountain. Okay, because it will reflect. But look how, I'm not going to add anything more because you get the picture. Look how pretty that is. It looks like a sunset. I mean, you look at the way the clouds look, they'll be kind of like broken and long, and the colors will move through. If you want to move it around more, you can add a little more alcohol to this. I would recommend, as your alcohol starts to get colored, have something you can pour this into, wipe out the inside with a paper towel, and then put some plain in. But we're just going to use this. You can, you know, go across if you want to mute the colors a little bit. But yeah, I like it. I'm going to add a little bit of the color down here. I'll pick some of it up here, add some of it on the mountain. Yeah, that's about it. So if you wanted it to look more like those clouds, you can add some alcohol to it, go to your blue, okay, and you're going to just kind of tap, okay, and then you're going to blow it across, add a little more alcohol if you want it to look like the cloud is a little puffier. That's cool. I like that. Maybe I need to do a sunset one. Getting a little more blue. Do some more here. Remember to do that circular motion. So it really creates a whole different effect. I think they look more real. Can you see those? See how they kind of just look billowy and like they're picking up different colors. It's really neat, actually. I kind of wish I had done that on a bigger piece that I hadn't completed. I'll do another one. But yes, so that gives you a few different techniques. So, what did we learn? Who knows, because she's just been rambling for how many minutes? Dilute with alcohol. Put it either on a cover, a plastic cover, something you can work with, an old Tupperware container, something. Separate your colors out the best you can. Have a separate area to rinse out your brushes. Use your brushes, but don't overload them. Have your paper towel so you can dab it off. Think about the idea of what you're going to try to make, but don't get so hung up by it. I'm going to quickly I'll do a bloom real quick to show you again. So this is the original one, if you came onto that one. This is the one where you put a spot in the center, okay? You wait till it stops moving, or you can use, some people use hair dryers, some people use heat guns. I have both. I don't have either one of them hooked up right now because I only have one connection for either the light or the heat gun. So if you don't want to see, but just hear the heat gun, we could do that. Okay. Sorry, I'm eating ice. That's obnoxious, huh? So I have these great little, the heck are they? You know what they are. I'm going through menopause and sometimes my brain doesn't work. Some people would say a lot of times my brain doesn't work, but. So let's just do this. You're going to take, I kind of hold up the paper. Okay. I'm going to take the brush. Okay. I'm going to dab it on one corner of where the color is. I'm going to take this. I'm going to blow it down. It creates a petal. See that? So this works just like the dropper. It's a dropper. I knew that. This works like the dropper. You're dabbing it. I'm holding the paper up so I can get to it. You let the alcohol sit for a bit, a few seconds. So it starts to, you'll see it start to raise the color up, and then you move the color. Okay, we'll just do a few petals. You blow down and away. Okay.